Hey there, Seahawks fans. Welcome into today's Seahawks video. We've got some news and rumors, some roster cuts, an update on Clowney and Jamal Adams as well. The update is that Adams is not going to get an extension from the Seahawks. He very vocally wanted to get paid by the Jets, then demanded a trade. Got that trade, of course, to Seattle. He has 2 years left on his contract. And the fun part for Seattle is that Adams is actually extremely affordable this year. It's a little bit more expensive next year, but this year Jamal Adams costs significantly less than what Bradley McDougald was going to cost on the Seahawks cap, which is crazy, but that's what happens when you have a rookie contract. Now, Adams, assuming he does get paid by Seattle, is going to be expensive. I encourage teams to be aggressive and pay players earlier because Derwin James, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jamal Adams, and others, well, they're all due for pretty hefty deals. It's probably going to surpass $15 million. I'd do Jamal Adams 5 years, $15 right now, and spread that cap hit over 7 years because you're able to with the way Adams' contract is set up. So this year, Adams costs less than $1 million on the Seahawks cap. Crazy, right? Next year, a little bit under $10 million. Then in 2022, well, he becomes a free agent where Seattle, they will have the option to use the franchise tag if they so choose, re-sign him or, let him walk. Now, if you're like me, I think you should be pretty excited Seattle added Jamal Adams. So if you agree and you are pumped Seattle added Adams in a trade, regardless of what they gave up, I want you guys to like this video. Now, the price tag for Adams was pretty darn expensive. 2022 fourth also comes to Seattle, whatever, but it's 2 first-round picks, plus a safety Seattle didn't really need anymore, and a third-round pick. For reference, that is significantly more than what the Miami Dolphins got back as part of the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade. That trade, well, it ended up working out wonders for Pittsburgh's defense. Now, their quarterback play killed them. But a first, a fifth, and a sixth, plus a seventh in Minkah, the Steelers gave up far less. Now, I'd argue Adams is a better player, but I'm not sure it's by that much more. And the consensus that I've seen so far from national media is that, well, the Jets kind of won this trade and Seattle gave up too much. Now, I think on a counterpoint here, look, Seattle, they haven't drafted that well. Those first-round picks aren't going to be as impactful as Jamal Adams will be. So I want you guys to reply to the pinned comment here for me. Scroll on down here if you get the ad break on YouTube and cast your votes. Type Y for yes or N for no. Did the Seahawks overpay for Jamal Adams? Let's talk Clowney now, because Adams, by the way, also talking about Clowney. Stay tuned for that one here in just a second. The Adams trade actually freed up cap space. Seattle looking at around 17-ish million. Now, there's nothing new on Clowney yet, but Clowney wildly overestimated his market, and Seattle, I think, is the best fallback option for him to sign a 1-year deal for way less than what he wanted to get and try and cash in again next offseason. Now, Jake Yates, former Seahawks quarterback, tweeted this out. Hey, Clowney, with the addition of Jamal Adams, Seahawks are easily the best place for you to get that Super Bowl ring. Come back to Seattle. And Jamal Adams already recruiting players to Seattle. He says no question about it. It does make some sense for Seattle. The addition of Adams to me is very much a all-in right now type of move. We have our quarterback. He's in his 30s. We don't know for sure how much longer that window will be open. Let's push as many chips as we can right now to do that. And Clowney would help in that area. So cast your votes for me. Of course, the price must be correct. But should Seattle add Clowney? Type 1 for yes, let's do it for 1 more year. Or type 0 for no, you just don't even want to bother anymore. I lean more towards a 1 for yes, because I look at this defensive line depth chart and I go, maybe L.J. Collier won't be horrible this year. Bruce Irvin can be a nice rotation piece. Darrell Taylor, Rasheem Green, some younger players with some promise. Taylor, of course, a rookie out of Tennessee. I don't have much confidence in that defensive line. I truly don't. Now, you can kick Collier inside on some pass rushing downs. I would want Clowney, though. I'd feel better about it. Yeah, his production wasn't great, but he was good for the Seahawks last year. A fantastic run stopper, generated a bunch of pressure. Just didn't finish as often as he normally does. Maybe he's never going to be a true 15-sack guy, but I'd take 6 or 7 sacks right now for 1 year, 10-ish, maybe even less than that. I think it makes sense for Seattle if Clowney wants to come back. Now, if you guys want even more Seahawks videos, I need you guys to subscribe. This is a capitalistic channel here at Chat Sports. Most views, more videos. Seahawks, you guys are getting caught by Miami. Don't let the Dolphins, of all teams, force us to do more of Miami videos instead of Seattle videos. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe today. The NFL Top 100 list starting to come out from NFL Network. 2 Seahawks players are already on it. One of them, DK Metcalf. He checked in at number 81 overall after an impressive rookie season with Wilson and with the Seahawks. 58 catches for 900 yards, an impressive 15.5 average, the 7 touchdowns as well. He was one of 4 receivers revealed in that initial 30 that were released by the NFL. Allen Robinson, the Bears, at 93. Cooper Kupp from the Rams at 89. Keenan Allen then at 77. And comparing these 4 receivers, only one of them didn't go for at least 90 catches and 1,000 yards. That's DK Metcalf. The touchdown's pretty even. Obviously, DK more of a home run threat for this Seahawks team, barely behind in the yards, and yet the receptions were significantly lagging there. This list is supposed to be for the upcoming season, so you can bank on some more growth out of DK Metcalf. So get your votes in for me. Seeing those 4 receivers and their stats all together, DK Metcalf at 81. If you think he's too low, that he should be in the 70s or even above that, type L. If you think he's overrated and you think he's too high, maybe he should be made the top 100, type H. Or if you think he's just about right, type R. I am very curious to see how your votes come in. As an unbiased member, I think it might be a little bit high for DK Metcalf. I'm not sure he's quite a top 85 player just yet. Now, of course, I like DK Metcalf a lot, my number 1 receiver when he came out of the NFL draft. If you want his jersey, they're on sale. Chatsports.com/Seahawks jersey. I'll put that link in the comments and in the description. And there's a lot more than just DK Metcalf ones at that link, folks. They got Russell Wilson. They've got custom jerseys as well. They got Tyler Lockett, I think, in there too. Bobby Wagner. And at some point, they're going to have Jamal Adams ones as well. So go check out the full assortment at chatsports.com/Seahawks jersey. The other Seahawk to crack just inside the top 100 was Chris Carson, the running back. He checked in at 96 overall, fresh off a career best season. He is one of 2 backs ranked so far, the other being Josh Jacobs. I loved what I saw from Carson as a fantasy owner of Chris Carson last year. Pretty happy. Over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. I actually am a little bit surprised he made the top 100. I'm also not that surprised Josh Jacobs came in ahead of him. But this is a Seahawks channel, so I wonder how many C's we're going to get in the comments. If you could pick one of these backs, who would it be? Type C for Chris Carson or type J for Josh Jacobs. Now, the NFL is going to have 80-man roster limits for camp this year, which means cuts are coming in for Seattle. And there were some notable ones. It was only a couple of days ago we talked about the center battle between Joey Hunt and B.J. Finney. That's been decided. Joey Hunt has been released by Seattle. He started about half the year at center for the Seahawks last year, but they added B.J. Finney. And the center battle, to me, is pretty much over. Unless Ethan Posick can find a way to go back to center, Finney's going to be the guy. He agreed to a 2-year, $8 million deal in free agency. Started a few games last year for the Steelers, but Justin Britt, Jordyn Brooks also cut, by the way, in this wave, and Joey Hunt, they've all been released. So Finney, I think pretty clearly, he's the starter now at center for Seattle. The other cut here that I think was notable, we'll break down all 9 in a second, don't worry, folks. Brandon Jackson, it was only a matter of time. Seattle saves $2.1-ish million with his release. He started a handful of games for the Seahawks, but I mean, just look at the depth chart at defensive end, especially if you're going to go explore a Clowney edition. Jackson was not going to make this team over Collier or Irvin or Taylor or Green, probably not over Mayoa or Alton Robinson, the rookie out of Syracuse. So where's the spot for him? Maybe at the movement defensive tackle, but I think they're going to let Collier play there a bunch too. So Jackson's release, it simply made sense. The timing, though, earlier than what I anticipated. Now, some other Seahawks cuts here. Players who'd been on the team or in the NFL last year. Khalil McKenzie, Jordyn Brooks, Sutton Smith also all released. And then 4 UDFAs were also cut before they really got a chance to prove themselves. Patrick Carr, look, it makes sense that you don't need that many backs. Seth Dawkins, another one. Dominic Wood-Anderson doesn't surprise me either because, well, they have enough tight ends, something we've discussed multiple times on this show. And then Josh Norwood out of West Virginia, also released by Seattle. One more time here, folks. Do not forget Seahawks jerseys are on sale. Chatsports.com/Seahawks jersey. Check out the full assortment. Russell Wilson. They've got DK Metcalf as well. They are all available at chatsports.com/Seahawks jersey. One final note here. Jordyn Brooks, the Seahawks first-round pick out of Texas Tech, has officially signed his rookie contract. It's a 4-year, $12.35 million deal. Includes an almost $6.5 million signing bonus. The deal also includes the typical 5th-year team option as well.